Thank you for joining our ETRAGE webinar. Today, ETRAGE will share how we use PTC's Microsoft desktop integration with your Windchill PLM. This is a classically underutilized functionality of Windchill, and it comes with your Windchill licensing, author licensing. There is no special add-ons needed. PTC supports you in managing your non-CAD product data with your CAD product data. If this is your first ETRAGE webinar, please note that everyone is muted. At any time, you can use that Q&A for your questions, and we will get to those towards the end after the demo. Additionally, a recording of today's webinar will be available online, and for everyone who's registered, you will receive a link to that recording via email. I'm Sinead from ETRAGE, and joining me today is Ephraim. He will be leading the demonstration. We both have been with the PTC and manufacturing space for over a decade. Ephraim is one of our senior Windchill technical specialists. Our team works hand in hand with design and manufacturing companies on their PLM adoption. That could be a new implementation, expanding the departments who have access to data, or tuning your process so that it matches your current business needs. So today I'll do a very brief introduction of ETRAGE, and then we'll hand things over to Ephraim, who will do the demonstration of this integration, and then we will still have time for your questions. So who is ETRAGE? ETRAGE started as a software development company over 20 years ago. Since then, we have expanded our offerings to support product lifecycle management, also known as PLM. We do this for the adoption to be able to extend beyond engineering and across your entire manufacturing enterprise. At ETRAGE, we understand that adoption is not a one-time event. It typically is an ongoing strategic process, and that the processes evolve as your business evolves. Our support of PLM adoption includes supporting the systems you use, the processes, and the people. And Ephraim, I'll hand out things over to you.
Thanks, Sinead. And yeah, welcome everybody. So I will start off by just going through the challenges that we see across our organizations when it comes to managing documents and collaborating during the product development phase. So the first one is working with scattered and conflicting file versions, which often leads to confusions about which is the latest and the correct one. So picture on the left, you must have seen this in your organizations where whenever I create an update of a file, I'll append the name with the revision of that file, or append the name with my initials to just show that this is something that I have modified. Or if it's a final document, you will name it in that way. So if I'm not aware of those additional files and the order of when they were modified, I will definitely use a wrong document just based on those. The second challenge we see a lot is that a lot of people rely on email attachments or unsecured transfer that creates risks, delays, and version control issues. So you'll find that someone require this specification documents, but I send it because I have access to the file. I send it to you before it is even released. So by the time it gets to you, the file has already been modified and updated. So you're now sitting with the file that might be out of date and unusable. The third challenge is that without a proper audit trail or version history, it is very hard to track who changed what and when, and why was that particular change made. This will normally impact heavily on critical compliances, audits, and also if we need to debug an issue or troubleshoot an issue, we might not know why the change was actually made. Then the other challenge that we see a lot is siloed work. So we're working on the same product, but the departments that are working on this particular product are completely disconnected in terms of the data that they use for that particular product, which in turn reduces efficiency and innovation, because everyone is, doing something that they think the product should do, and they're doing those separately. And the last one that we see a lot as well is the customer would have a PLM system available there, which can manage these documents. But because of the complexity of some of these PLM systems and it being very difficult to use, you still find files scattered in your local drives, emails, the shadow IT tools that bypass this entire PLM system, which would in turn break the data integrity of that. So all these issues can lead to errors and inefficiencies in product development. So now let's look at the tool that we will be talking about today. So the Windchill desktop integration is a feature from PTC Windchill that provides seamless integration with your Microsoft Office applications. So it allows users to manage Windchill stored documents directly within the familiar Office tools without needing to consistently switch to the normal Windchill web browser. So one of the features that you will get as soon as you have this add-on installed is on each of this application you see here, you will have a dedicated Windchill tab or menu. For instance, on the Word document where you'd use it to create your specs and procedures, Excel document for spreadsheets, bill of materials and data list, PowerPoint for presentations and reporting, even data that's also stored in your Outlook application can also be managed or pushed from Outlook directly into your PLM system. And also managing this data in the Windows Explorer. So the way it works with the Windows Explorer is also as soon as the Windows or Windchill desktop integration is installed, it will go in and create a special Windows document node under your Windows Explorer. So normally under this computer or this PC or this computer, depending on the version of Windows you have. So this then acts as a visual view of your connected Windchill servers. So you can also use this to connect to multiple servers if you need to, and also different context. So your Windchill products, your Windchill libraries, and project data, allowing you to be able to navigate folders like in your regular, Windows Explorer view, be able to right-click on files that are in this environment and be able to see the Windchill-related context menus, and also be able to upload data in this environment using things like your normal drag and drop. And then based on that information, it will then lead you to putting in some metadata information about that document, and also be able to perform some searches or have your custom views in this Windows Explorer that is related to Windchill metadata. So this makes document workflow feel native to Windows, and also improving productivities for teams handling Office documents and PDFs in Windchill. So at this stage, I'll just take you through the demonstration of what we have just talked about. So I am going to just share my screen. Okay, so I have my screen shared now. So I'm going to quickly just open up a Word document over here. and create a new document from here. So you will notice as soon as the application has been installed, and I'll show you how to do the installation at the end of the demonstration, is on your Microsoft application, you will get a new tab that is called Windchill. And then under that new tab, it will have the Windchill actions and functions under it. So before I start creating these documents, I just want to show you the nice thing with having this data managed in Windchill, and making sure that traceability is maintained and things like that. So I'm basically browsing through the Windchill folders in the web environment, and then I'm going to a specific folder here, and I want to show you that these are the documents, and from this entries here, or from the rows in this table here, I can also see the number of that document. I can see the formats that the document is created in. So you can see there's two Word documents, and I have a PDF document over there. Things like version, the state of the document, when was it modified. And this view that you see here, at any point you can change it or tailor it to show you the metadata that you require. So on the traceability part is that if I go to my document itself here, under the history tab, I can see all the revisions or the versions of these files, the entire list of them, the history versions as well as the live latest version, which is -.2 in this case. But if I need to see how 1.1 looked like, or the document looked like at this stage, I can go in and look at that information. And if there's any information about who authorized the release of this part, I can see who's authorized this. So if I need any additional information from them about this, I can always go back to them and find that information out. Same with the revisions. If it was revised, that information, if it was revised through a proper workflow in Windchill, I will be able to get that information from here. And then even during my audit, I'll be able to explain why something was changed and who changed it and who approved it. The additional information would be the metadata about the documents as well. So if you have your custom documents, you can also capture the metadata information that you need. For instance, in this case, I'm capturing things like title, material, and the customer that this particular specification document belongs to. So things like state information, it's something that you would be able to see from here and from the document desktop integration as well. So I'll go back and jump back into my Microsoft Word application here. And to create a new document from here, I'll basically just add whatever information that I need. So for instance, this will be our demo specification document 001, and I can go in and format my document the way I need. That's my document. And then once this is done, to save this file in my Windchill system, I can then go in and say, I need to create a new document. And as soon as I do that, it tells me that this file, before I can actually push it into Windchill, I need to save it in the folder locally on my PC that Windchill will use as a cache folder for this. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll save it in one of the folders that I have here. That file is saved. As soon as I save it in there, it brings me the Windchill new folder dialog. And in here, I can specify where I want to save my document. So I'm saving it in the demo product. And then inside of my demo product, I can also go in and specify which folder am I saving it into. So I'm going to save it into the, I don't have a specification. Yeah, I don't have a specific folder. So I'll just save it into the miscellaneous folder over there. And then I have now an opportunity to specify the type for this particular document. So because it is a specification document, I will save it as a specification document. But what I wanted to explain is these are all the document types that I have in my demo system right now. But if you have your own custom documents, ETRAGE is able to assist you in setting this up to have your own custom document types as part of this. So this is the specification, that will be the name for it. And I can also go in and add additional information for this. Description as initial specifications. Then maybe customer, just as ETRAGE. And then I'm going to go in and say, I want to check in this file, but because I'm still going to modify it, I'm just going to keep it checked out, and then document still opened in Office, Microsoft Word Office. So my document is not checked in, and if I go back to the Windchill panel here, I can look at things like the metadata information, so the properties of this particular file. So it shows that this is the number. And again, the one thing that I wanted to mention also is you can also have the custom numbering for your documents. In this instance, because this is a specification document, our name or our number will have spec as part of its spec dash as part of its numbering. This is something that also again ETRAGE can assist in setting it up for you. So I can see the version about this, the initial specifications, ETRAGE's customers. This is information that we have uploaded into the system just now. But then I can also go in and make my document a bit more smart. So those attributes information that we have loaded. So the title and the the customer attribute, things like versioning, I can expose those in the document itself to make it more intelligent and to automatically pull this information out of my document. So I can simply go in and say title. This will be my title of my document, and I can go and say for this particular title, pull a specific attribute information directly from the system. So it must pull the title in there. You'll see it's already populating the title as the correct title. I can go in and say for my customer, I do the same. I do the same for my customer, proceeding as ETRAGE. And I can also go in and say for my footer here, or in my footer here, I want this to show as the state of my document. Then I can simply go in and just pull in the state from there. And you can see this is information about this particular document, and to show that this is interactive and smart document at this stage. If I go in, let's go in and just check in this file. I'm checking in my file here, and as I'm checking in my file, I'm going to change the details of the customer to be something else, and then my initial title to be something else as well there. And then I'm going to check in my file, and what I'll do is keep this document open so that I can show you the changes that we've done. So you'll see, as soon as I do that, it will immediately update this information for me. And you see we now have the new customer as that, and the title as that as well. So I can also go and say, okay, this is now my revision. Let's go my state. Let's go and change that state to something else. And as soon as I change that from design to prototype, it immediately updates in my document. And those updates you can also pull as you're looking at this document without modifying it. You're just viewing it, but someone might be modifying this document and checking it in, releasing it in. So as soon as it's released or it's been updated on the other side, you can always use this update function to say update to the latest, and it will go and pull the latest metadata from the Windchill side and bring it in into this view here. What I've shown you with just adding those or making this document a bit smart with metadata pulled in directly in here, you can take that and use it as a template as well. By simply going and say, I want to create this as a new template. Then when you go in and you create a new file, you can now go in and use that template as a start point for a document. I have one that I already created, and I'm going to go in and just start creating a document from the template. This is where I want to save my document, and then in this folder here, and then I give my document a type, which is a document type, and then on the drop down here, I can go in and select the template that I've created, and there's no limit as to how many templates you can create for a particular document type. So this is for the service manual template, and then I'll go in and just create my or give it a name, service manual 00 excuse me 100, and then I can also go in and put in some metadata if needed, and check in our file. So system tells me that the file has been created. Do I wish to open it in Word? I'll open that file, and then you'll also notice that all this information that we see on here is what's been pulled in directly from the metadata, because I've created this template to contain or to pull from those metadata files. Okay. Right, so there is all as far as the this part of the Windchill integration goes. So I can simply now at this stage go in and just check my file back into Windchill. And one last thing that I wanted to mention from here is for certain workflows, such as the promotion, if I need to get my file promoted, I'm done working on this file and I need it to be promoted, I have that function where I can initiate a promotion process from within this document. Set it, say, okay, we're promoting it to released. This is our document. And then I can go in and set my approvers or reviewers for this particular document. I can go in and say, OGadmin will be my approver, another user would be my reviewer, and initiate this process. So this will then go to whoever the approver is, and then the process will be done. So without leaving the Microsoft Office application, I'm able to do everything that I need to do. So the second part I wanted to talk about is the Windows Explorer integration. So soon as that add-on is installed, what it also does is under this PC, it will add another node that is called Windchill Documents. So in this Windchill document, this is where I would go in and register my Windchill server or Windchill servers. So in this case, I've registered what I'm using, my demo server. I give it a URL and an alias name that it will use for the name of the server. And then once that's done, I would then log into this using my username and password. And then as soon as you log in, it takes me to this view. So this takes me to all the libraries in Windchill that I have access to. This also takes me to the products, the project that I have access to. So if we, for instance, go to one of the documents that we've just recently created, it will be under demo product, documentations, and then miscellaneous folder over here. It's just sorted by date. Yeah, this is one of the document that we recently created. So from this view here, I can simply open this file up in Microsoft Word, or if I right click on it, yeah. Okay, my PC is freezing here. Let's open it up again. But quickly go back to that folder. Demo document miscellaneous. Sorry, by date, yeah. So this will, if I right click on this particular document here and just expand the view that you're looking on here is what you actually get, or the functions you actually get from the Windchill site itself. I can check this out. I can revise. I can rename. I can set state. So for instance, the version of this file is on 1.2 at the moment. If I go and revise it, it brings my Windchill revise window on here. Revise this, so it'll go from revision 1 to the new revision, which is revision 2. Right, there you go. Same, I mean, those actions are the exact same actions that you get in the Windchill side. The nice thing with this view is this is the view that you used to, you work with every day on the Windows in the Windows environment. So the one other thing I wanted to quickly show is if I need to add a new file using this Explorer, I can simply drag a file from my local folder. So in this case, it's just my my demo data. So I can just drag this and drop it in the folder where I want to save it, and it will automatically bring up this window where I'll be able to specify the document type for this particular file, any metadata information I need to add, and then check that file in. And that file will now be added to my folder over here. So it is this new file that I've just added. So you can simply drag and drop in here. If I need to create a new file, also from here I can just right click, new document. Then it brings the new document window that you'll normally get from the Windchill side. And then if I'm in any, on any file on my system that is a non-Microsoft file, for instance, this image is here, I can right click on the image, and then from the Windchill menu, there will be a Windchill function. So I can simply, select that Windchill function and then create this as a new document. And then as soon as I do that, it brings up the new document window. Go through the entire process, put in the name of the file, any additional metadata, and save that file. But that function, this right-click function that you see here, applies to the non-Microsoft Office documents only. Because with the Microsoft documents, you can simply open those up and then push them as new documents directly from your Microsoft Office file. Then the last thing I wanted to show on the demo side before I show you how you go in and add or install this integration is this also applies to Microsoft Outlook. You might have received an email like I did here with some meeting minutes, project minutes for this month. What you can do from here is from the Windchill tab or ribbon, I'll just create a new document from attachment. then it will create a document based on this attachment. If I do the new Windchill document, it is basically saved in this file as an email .msg file. It will save the entire email in Windchill with that attachment. But I'm interested in just saving an attachment. So in this case, it just shows me a list of things that or attachments that might be in this email. I pick the one that I want to add, and then it simply brings up my new document. I specify where I want to save this. So because this the meeting minutes, I'll save them under the meeting minutes folder. Then next, give it a type. So the type will be minute in this case, and then it's just updating the folder with this information, the table with this information. This is the name of my file. It will auto-generate the number for me, and it shows me what file it's actually adding on here. So you can see is that document file with our minutes in it, and then that's it. So from within your Outlook, you can directly add those attachments into a Windchill. So if I quickly go to the documents just to show you the file that we've just added now under the minutes, there you go. It is that minutes file that we've just added now. So that's how easy it is to work on or manage your documents in Windchill without even looking at this interface, this Windchill web browser interface. So lastly, is just to show you where you would normally get that software. As Shahid said, with the licenses that you already have in Windchill, you have this function already. What maybe you need is the guidance from ETRAGE on how to deploy this and use it. So from the quick links software download page here on the Windchill, you'd get in the desktop integration, you'd get an exe file or MSI file that you can download and install. And because we now have Microsoft Office Online as well, there is an integration for that as well. So you simply download that file from here and install it. It will then add that Windchill tab on all your Microsoft documents, and then under Explorer create that Windchill documents node in there as well. So that is all I wanted to show. But maybe just before I hand it back to Shanae, would be to just talk about the benefits of what we've just seen now. How will this benefit you? This will benefit by improving productivity. We're now working on the same documents. We're collaborating on the same information, and it also centralizes your document management. Everyone knows whenever I need a document relating to this particular product, I will find it in Windchill, but using my Windows Explorer, my normal view that I'm used to. The other thing is you have a better version control and traceability. So from that history, we're able to see what was the initial version, and at any point I can view what is in that particular version, and obviously this will better collaboration because we're working on the exact same data. If I have this file checked out to me and I'm working on it, you will be able to see that I have the file checked out to me, but you can still see information about the file. So you know exactly where the file is in the process, which obviously reduces errors and duplicate files, and delays. It also reduces delays downstream. And I mean for business, the value that it adds for business is having that faster document workflow, because we're using the one method of releasing this information or the workflow in one system, and so that process will be fast because everyone who's part of the process can also see where the document is in the process. Better engineering collaboration, improved compliance, because all the information that will be needed for compliance or will be needed for auditing is already available in the system and accessible straight away, and also provide that stronger data governance. Yeah, so with that, I'll switch it back to you, Sinead, to just maybe handle questions on this stage.
Sounds good. All right, so this is the point where if you have any questions, please use that question mark icon. And while we wait for folks to type out any questions they have, we want to share some of our upcoming webinars and events. So coming up in our spring webinars, we will continue to cover different aspects of PTC's Windchill. Some of those topics include ETRAGE's remote support services for Windchill. This is how we help your end users, as well as making sure we maintain the environment ongoing. We also have best practices for Windchill administrators. And then in May, we have one looking at how to share your bill of materials from Windchill and push it into your ERP. The week of April 20th through the 24th, we will be running an Intro to Creo class virtually. So if you have any new hires or interns starting, we're happy to have you join that. And if I look, it looks like we do have a question. Ephraim, can you add part attributes to, e.g., a Word document, or only document attributes? Ephraim, are you muted?
Still muted. There is a way to collect the parts attribute and bring those into the related Word document. I'm just not sure at this stage if you can use that attribute into a document, but this is something that we can look at and revert to the user with.
Okay.
I can check that.
So we'll get back to you.
We'll get back to you. Yeah.
Let's give it one more second, see if anyone else has any other questions.
Yeah, and Shalita, I mean, I think it's also important to stress again that this is the function that the customer already have. I mean, if they have a Windchill, they already have this function available, and they're just not using it. Maybe because they find it very complex to use it directly in the web. I mean, ETRAGE is available to, give guidance and assist in terms of just hand-holding in assisting the customer to implement desktop integration this way.
And I think that's a good segue as we wrap up today's webinar, but feel free to contact us afterwards if any new questions come to you. ETRAGE is a partner of PTC. There is a lot of functionality both within Creo and Windchill that often goes underutilized. So we encourage you to check out some of our past webinars. Those can be found on our website as well as the ETRAGE YouTube channel. And feel free to reach out if you have a challenge around, your trying to build out your one source of truth, really adopting PLM. We're happy to talk to you about that and see if whether our products or our services can support that. One last note, if you didn't know, ETRAGE does do Windchill upgrades. So if you are looking to upgrade because you're off support, whether that's a single or a double upgrade, we are happy to schedule a complimentary health check that allows us to see where your environment is at today. And then we can provide you a proposal so that you can either plan for the spring or plan for the future, and ask us any questions that you may have around your Windchill environment. So feel free, call us or email us. We do pick up the phone. We love talking to people. And a reminder that We will send out a link to today's recording so that you can either rewatch or share with your colleagues. And with that, ETRAGE thanks all of you for spending time with us today, and we'll see you next time.